Hello, and welcome to 101 Facts About Papyrus, inspired by me watching a video once where someone tried to do papyrus analysis, and it sucked so bad. They accused Papyrus of being a murderer within the first 30 seconds, as well as saying many other things about him which were blatantly untrue, and just really terrible analysis, honestly. I started making this fact list immediately after watching that video, because it made me so fucking mad. Anyways, this fact list is not complete. It is not comprehensive, but I wanted to release it anyways because I've been telling people about it for years. I'll link people to the Google Doc that has the facts in it, and I finally wanted to get around to finally making the video for it. So here I am. Fact 1. According to the Q&A that Toby did for the first anniversary of Undertale's release, Papyrus's favorite food is oatmeal, specifically the kind with dinosaur eggs from Quaker Oats. In the same Q&A, Papyrus says he has never even eaten spaghetti before, much to the fandom's dismay. Fact 3. Papyrus only continues to make spaghetti because he thinks it makes his friends happy. Fact 4. Papyrus has a total of 2,184 lines in the game, more than any other character, and almost as much as the narrator of the game, which is 2,418 lines. The next closest character is Undyne, with 1,268 total lines. Fact 5. Though he claims to hate puns, Papyrus says more puns than anyone else in the game. Papyrus makes 14 puns compared to Sans' 6. Fact 6. The Gauntlet of Deadly Terror Bridge is actually a rock formation that Papyrus painted to look like a bridge. He added the rope, too. Fact 7. He is friends with Flowey and seems to be one of the only characters that know about Flowey other than Alphys. Fact 8. Despite his refusal to kill you, he has no issue with fighting or defending himself, even describing himself as a brutal kind of guy. Fact 9. Papyrus is one of the only characters to consistently speak without an asterisk, the other being Gaster. Fact 10. Papyrus does use an asterisk when he uses his Undernet account, however. Fact 11. Papyrus seems to be able to fly, float, and glide with relative ease and no in-game explanation. Fact 12. Even though Sans says he reads Papyrus bedtime stories, Papyrus has very unusual sleeping habits. He thinks that 7 hours is way too long and has no problem staying up until midnight to wait for Undyne. His sleeping habits are odd enough that Undyne comments, and Papyrus himself doesn't know how to sleep. Fact 13. Papyrus is the only battle that heals Frisk to full HP right before the fight as well as immediately after if they are captured. Fact 14. Papyrus canonically brushes pink/light red. Fact 15. Papyrus wears a cape, not a scarf, as made obvious by the back of his walking sprite. Fact 16. Papyrus learned all his cooking skills from Undyne, who herself isn't really good at it. She knows this and she comments, "Man, no wonder Papyrus sucks at cooking after trying to teach Frisk and burning down her house." Toby confirmed that Papyrus would be good at cooking if someone else taught him. Fact 17. It seems as though Papyrus is good at cooking as long as it's not spaghetti. He used to make lasagna but stopped because the annoying dog kept eating it before he could. Either that or the annoying dog has really bad taste. Fact 18. According to Undyne, Papyrus is really frickin' strong, and she's only keeping him out of the royal guard because of his refusal to kill, as she prepares for the eventual war which would start once the barrier shatters. Fact 19. If you call him in the three-way path area of Snowdin Forest, he'll ask you if you're lost and suggest you try to call for help. Calling him again prompts him to ask why you're calling him. Fact 20. He very casually mentions how he wants to meet death, and Anusharon will humorously quote Hamlet while holding his own decapitated head. Fact 21. There is no indication of what Papyrus did before he and Sans came to Snowdin except for that one interview where he mentions green grass. Fact 22. Papyrus thinks dangerous spikes and other life-threatening hazards are normal for children. Fact 23. Papyrus seems to be able to see what the player is looking at through the phone. He says things like, "I can't see you, draw a diagram and hold it up to the phone. That bag of dog food looks familiar," and "Here, let me draw it for you so you can see." However, Toriel's phone is much too old to text, so it's not possible for it to have video chat or texting photos. Fact 24. Papyrus seems to be watching you throughout Snowdin no matter where you are. For instance, if you go through the shortcut tunnel, he will actually face the house, and consequently the player, as they go through the tunnel. Fact 25. Papyrus has such control over his magic that he can make his attacks do 0 damage. Fact 26. Papyrus has frequent enough nightmares that he has a least favorite. Fact 27. He used reverse psychology to get Undyne to become friends with the player. Fact 28. Papyrus might not actually consider Undyne his friend until after the human befriends her. Yeah, let's go make friends with Undyne. He considers her more of his boss than his friend before Frisk arrived. Fact 29. Flowey says Papyrus took a long time to get boring on his repeated runs. Fact 30. If you call Papyrus on the phone from inside his bedroom immediately after getting his phone number, he'll ask you if you know what a door is. Fact 31. Papyrus knows about Sans' shortcuts and mentions them on a few occasions. Fact 32. He seems to really dislike Grillbees and grease. Fact 33. He is quick to change his opinion on Grillbees and grease after finding out that Undyne loves it. Fact 34. When he does go to Grillbees, he orders a glass of milk. Quote, "It's full of strong bones." Fact 35. He doesn't know what a library card is, so he likely and unintentionally stole his dating book. Unintentional, depending on how you interpret the word snagged. Fact 36. He mentions knowing about airplanes, trains, motorcycles, cars, and buses. Fact 37. In the room with Sans and a telescope, if you call Papyrus, he'll mention how Sans has a telescope because he loves outer space and sci-fi stuff. Then mention how he's not surprised Sans didn't tell them because Sans never tells anybody anything. Fact 38. If you call Papyrus from the room in Waterfall where the ice cream guy is/was, he'll mention that he doesn't need any ice cream because he lives in Snowdon and there's ice cream all over the ground, while Sans is present. Fact 39. Calling Undyne and Papyrus in the room where an ice cream guy is in Hotland will prompt Papyrus to ask you where his ice cream for fighting you is. Fact 40. Calling in front of the lab with Sans present makes it seem like Papyrus doesn't know what it is. However, calling from inside the lab shows that Papyrus knows exactly what it is, and that his brother would love it because he loves science fiction, especially when it's real. Fact 41. Papyrus' sad talk sprite is only used when you call him from the room in Hotland where the core is visible, briefly when he mentions Undyne being missing in the King Metaton ending, when he talks about how sad and hopeless Undyne is in one of the Queen Toriel endings, and when Sans is gone in the King Papyrus ending. Fact 42. Unlike all his other talk sprites, the sad one doesn't move his mouth. Fact 43. Papyrus knows about many different kinds of pasta, including lasagna, linguine, ravioli, rotini, rigatoni, and lumaconi. Fact 44. Papyrus built his sentry station out of rotini noodles and cardboard, perhaps so he could say his cardboard hydrates pun when asked about it. Fact 45. It's implied that Papyrus drinks marinara sauce using a rigatoni noodle like a straw. Fact 46. Sans helped make Papyrus' battle body for a costume a week or two before the game takes place. Papyrus loves it so much that he refuses to take it off even when he showers. Fact 47. Papyrus' costume seems to be heavily inspired by the public domain superhero, the Ghost. Fact 48. Another connection Papyrus has to the Ghost is the fact that they both wear their costumes almost all the time. Fact 49. During Papyrus' date/hangout, Papyrus completely alters the GUI. The only other characters able to do so are Asgore and Flowey, but even then they aren't able to change it to the same extent that Papyrus did. Fact 50. Nyehehe/Bone Trousel is used in all the trailers of the game, as well as almost all of the commercials made so far for merchandise, but it's a different version only ever heard in those trailers. Fact 51. Papyrus says himself that he knows nothing about his hands because he always keeps his gloves on. Toriel also mentions he never removes his gloves in the Winter Alarm Clock dialogue. Fact 52. If you abort the general run-up Papyrus and then go on your date/hangout with him and inspect his box of attacks, he'll imply that he uses Gaster Blasters, which he also implies he would have used on you, and maybe he would have if the annoying dog didn't steal them. Fact 53. Papyrus knows nobody likes his cooking, which either means they don't bother hiding it from him, or he could tell they didn't like it, which is funny considering he says he only makes it because he thinks it makes people happy. Fact 54. Papyrus' room is the only room that never plays any music unless Papyrus himself is in the room as well. Not even the pacifist ending music plays in his room when it plays literally everywhere else. Fact 55. The area the Papyrus fight takes place in is mostly silent, only playing music when Papyrus is there or after the post-pacifist fight when Reunited plays everywhere. Fact 56. The sound effect for opening Papyrus's door is unique for a few reasons and has a corresponding partner. The sounds door open and door close are only used in relation to 3 places. One is the true passive ascending in the stay branch, which uses both sounds, the mystery man / gaster room, which uses the door open sound, and Papyrus's house. Both sounds appear to be used when the annoying dog runs out of the house from underneath the sink, and the door close sound is used for both the door to the Skelebros house and for Papyrus's own room. The unique trait shared by Papyrus's room and Mystery Man's room is that all music is turned off when you enter those rooms. Even Reunited, the song that plays after you beat the true pacifist fight, turns off when you enter Papyrus's room, despite the fact that it plays literally everywhere else. Fact 57. Papyrus has several sprites that you can't find in the game's files, but they are in the art book, and they were never used because, according to Toby, they look too good. Fact number 58. His design was inspired by Daedon from the game Off. God, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Fact 59. Papyrus's theme was originally meant to be used in another older project, which was confirmed to be Deltarune by Toby in an interview. Fact 60. Papyrus's speech text shakes far more than any other character's. This has since been patched. Specifically, it was patched in 1.05, not 1.05a, the next patch. Fact 61. In very early drafts for his character, Papyrus was supposed to be a fedora-wearing weirdo who was a huge fan of My Little Pony, and according to Toby, he had absolutely no redeeming quality. But Toby didn't like that, so he changed it. Fact 62. In one of the early drawings Toby did of Papyrus, he was initially named Times New Roman, but the name was crossed out and giving the humorous commentary that I was raised by a newspaper. Fact 63. Papyrus thinks spikes, skulls, fire, and glowing things are cool. Fact 64. Papyrus will tell Frisk to eat the glowing mushrooms in Waterfall. If Frisk doesn't, he says that he would. This is kind of similar to advice River Person gives you telling you to eat a mushroom every day so they'll know that you're listening to them. Fact 65. Papyrus really hates Hotland. Fact 66. If you choose Frisk to become the ambassador, Papyrus appoints himself the mascot. Fact 67. If you choose for Frisk to not become the ambassador, Papyrus becomes the ambassador instead. Fact 68. When you check the Christmas tree in Snowdin, you'll notice that one of the presents is for Papyrus. Fact 69. If you kill Papyrus and check the tree again, the polar bear monster will comment that Papyrus's present is gone now. Fact 70. Similarly, Sans will be nowhere to be found in the game until you reach the Judgment Hall, except in a neutral run while you do a concert with Shiren where he's implied to appear as a hooded figure. Fact 71. If you go into Grillby's after killing Papyrus and thus getting rid of Sans, the patron will comment that Sans hasn't come in today. Fact 72. The effect of Papyrus's death is felt all around Snowdin despite the fact that most people in town would not be able to even give you Papyrus's name. Fact 73. If you talk to the slime family near the houses directly north of town, the 2 smaller slimes will be gone, and talking to the slime with the mustache will have him inform you that he's keeping his kids inside because today feels unsafe. Fact 74. The Scarf Mouse and Demon NPCs will make comments about how it feels like it's just getting worse and worse, and that, for a moment, my smile faltered. What's wrong? Fact 75. The Bear NPC in front of Grillby's will comment about how Papyrus usually walks past at that time to go to his meeting with Undyne. Fact 76. The Bunny NPC that is walking her brother comments about how happy she is today, which is creepy. She's the only character that reacts positively to him being dead. And the Bunny NPC with their arms crossed will comment about how happy she is and how it creeps them out. Fact 77. That same bunny monster who is happy will comment when Papyrus is not dead about how much she dislikes him. Fact 78. In the No Mercy route, Papyrus is the only boss where music plays in the overworld when a human ominously approaches a boss. Fact 79. The song that plays is Bone Trousel at 20% speed, which is interesting because usually Nyehehe plays as an opener to Bone Trousel. Fact 80. If you kill Papyrus, Undyne will begin to give you the speech she rehearsed, but stop midway to say that she knows you killed him because he didn't show up to their meeting and he isn't answering her calls. She finishes by saying that she will kill you. Fact 81. Killing only Papyrus will result in the Empress Undyne exiled Queen Toriel ending. This ending also happens when you kill at least 10 monsters that aren't the core 6. Fact 82. Now for roles Papyrus has in the neutral endings. In one of the Queen Undyne endings, Papyrus is appointed to the most important royal position, which involves him just standing around and looking cute. Fact 83. Furthermore, in that same call, he will go on to say, "Finally! I'm important, and it's all thanks to you, and the horrible things you did." That is stone cold right there. Fact 84. Then there's the King Papyrus ending, which is arguably one of the sadder endings. One of his lines, "Sometimes, even my best encouragement doesn't work," implies that in his seemingly short time as king, he has noticed an increase in monsters potentially falling down. Fact 85. During his serious talk in the King Papyrus ending call, his talk sprite will go from sad face to a nervous one when he brings out Undyne is on vacation. Fact 86. In the King Mettaton ending, Papyrus works as an agent for Mettaton, and he also acknowledges that everything is terrible, and when he talks about people disappearing, he gets a nervous look on his face. Fact 87. In a neutral ending where Toriel is alive but Undyne is not, Papyrus will often take Toriel's place when she leaves to watch over the fallen humans. Fact 88. In the exiled Toriel Queen Undyne ending, Papyrus makes a comment about how he'll be a great mom, which is similar to something he said in the trailer for the game. Fact 89. In what is often called the neutral pacifist ending, the neutral ending you get if you do a pacifist run first, Papyrus actually becomes captain of the Royal Guard, though his only duty is to literally just water flowers. Fact 90. Just before the true pacifist fight, when everyone is defending you from Flowey's initial attack, Papyrus and Sans make the attack that defends you together because the bone doesn't look like either of theirs. Fact 91. During this sequence, Papyrus is also bound with 4 vines when everyone else, including the boss monsters, are only bound with 2. Fact 92. As a lost soul, he is able to kill you, unlike every other instance in-game. Fact 93. Also during the Lost Soul fight, when you take into account the Skelebro's bone attacks are visually distinct from each other, you notice Papyrus is the only one summoning bones in that fight. Fact 94. The Japanese localization of the game confirmed that Papyrus is the younger brother, as he refers to Sans as Ni-chan. Fact 95. Papyrus' speech text is vertical and read right to left like traditional Japanese writing. Fact 96. Papyrus makes several references to things that happen in the future at different timelines. Fact 97. In the PlayStation port of Undertale, the annoying dog sets up a shrine under Papyrus' sink. If you donate to the shrine enough times, the dog will add 2 photos of Papyrus to the shrine. Fact 98. In the Nintendo Switch port, the shrine and all of its contents are abandoned. One photo of Papyrus creaks from disuse, and in another, even the spaghetti has gone rancid. Fact 99. Papyrus cannot be seen in Deltarune Chapter 1, but it is implied he'll be in the full game. Man, can you tell that I wrote this before any of the subsequent chapters came out? Fact 100. Naming your vessel or yourself after him in Deltarune will get you a special response from Gaster. Fact 101. If you name the fallen human Papyrus doesn't fit, you get a special response from Papyrus, saying he'll allow it. Well, that's all 100 facts on this list. It is not complete and it is not comprehensive because we haven't gotten Papyrus in Deltarune yet. Shakes my fist at the sky. But one day there will be Papyrus in Deltarune and there will be more Papyrus facts for this list. But until then, here's the video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. There are more Papyrus things in the works. I have a Papyrus character analysis video coming out, and then I have a mega theory that I'm going to be releasing. But until then, I have been insanely ADD, and thank you for watching.